Hello YouTube and welcome back. Today I have a special guest, Lake Speed Jr. I know I'm as excited as y'all are back there watching. So I want to let
I'm excited to be here. What are you talking about?
There we go. So I want to chill out a little bit, but this is great. This is awesome. Thanks for visiting.
Well, it's great to be here in Texas, and I can't help but think if we're here in Texas that there's a correlation between chili and engine performance.
Okay.
Right. So
yeah. Exactly.
So
I see where you're going with this.
If everybody who knows me probably knows where I'm going with this, right? Like you said, but so if you're making chili, you got to make sure that you've got the right tomatoes. You got to have the right ground beef and the seasoning, and of course there's a thing here in Texas with either beans or no beans, but we won't dwell on that right now.
Yeah, that'll be another video.
So the whole key is you got to have all the right ingredients for the chili to turn out right. You're not going to win the chili contest if you're just kind of
if you don't get the chili powder right. Done.
Yeah,
you don't get any part of the ingredients.
All the ingredients. It's putting them in the correct order and how long you cook it and the temperature. It's everything has to be right for you to get the winning chili.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes sense, all right? Well, it's the same thing for ring seal, because what ring seal is really the pumping efficiency of your engine. Your flow, that's all your camshaft and cylinder head, all the cool people, fun stuff,
yeah,
right?
you can spend all the time getting the air in.
Right.
And getting it out.
But if you don't have piston rings in there, guess what? It's not going to pump very well.
Yes.
They're just going to make a lot of motion and not do a lot of work. So ring seal is about having the right cylinder finish, the right cylinder bore geometry, the right oil retention, the right ring contact. Everything has to work correctly to create good ring seal. I always call it soup, but since we're here in Texas, we're calling it chili today. Right, that's the idea. So that's really the key thing that I think when people are looking at their engines, we were talking earlier today that before you just drop off your block at the machine shop, you might want to think a little bit about what type of ring you're using, because this ductile moly ring will optimally need a different surface finish than this steel ring does.
And that's great advice, because we don't want to brag on the machine shop. They got a lot of work to do. They're out there trying to get this stuff out as fast as they can, and they want to do good quality work. So they may not sit there and go, hey, by the way, what ring are you using so we can give you the right finish? If you now, because of the video, you can actually learn and be proactive, and now when you go to the shop, you can ask about the ring finish that you want.
Well, because we know what happens when you assume, right?
Yep. Yes.
There's an old saying about that. So you don't want to assume that they're just going to give the right finish, because they may assume that you're using a moly ring.
An older, and they're going to give you a finish that can work for everybody. So it may not be the best chili, but it's chili.
Right.
So we're going to give you a ring finish that's going to seal with the cast ring.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to seal with the moly ring. But if you start you into a chrome ring, so they're going to give you a little bit of rubber. So yes.
You got to adjust it, and that's the way to get the best performance and best durability. Because, like we most know, one size fits all tools typically don't fit anything well. Will it work? Yes, it will get you off the side of the road from being stranded. 9 times out of 10.
Back in the day, it was a cast ring and a medium to rough finish for a quick break-in, and that was basically it. You had 3 different rings: we had a cast ring, a moly ring, and a chrome ring.
Right. And that was how it was in the old days. And like you said, you could have a pretty basic finish and cover 2 of the 3 pretty well. The moly ring and the cast ring were pretty forgiving because they were soft. They would break in real easy. Now the chrome ring, boy, it was hard. So you had to make it rough. And then there was all these different myths about break-in, transmission fluid and Bonami. All those things came from the chrome ring days, because that chrome was a more durable, wear-resistant surface.
Good for blower, good for temperature, cylinder heat.
It was great for all that.
But not good.
It was hard to break in, which is why the whole idea of the moly type rings came around. Because if you go back to the history, we went from cast rings to chrome rings, because that's what made that cast ring.
Industrial usually had a chrome ring.
Right, because the base material of a chrome ring was still cast iron. It was just a chrome face coating. So all you did was change the face coating. You didn't change the material of the ring.
And
You just changed the
people
coating.
don't realize that a moly ring is still a cast ring.
Yeah.
It's still, if you look at it sideways, and I've done this in my video, they're both a dark gray cast.
Oh, yeah.
It's the face of it. We're talking about a moly
Exactly.
embedded
It's
ring.
just
it's not the
face
whole
coating.
ring made
so
out of
what
moly.
contacts the cylinder
Yeah.
bore has unique characteristics in terms of what the friction coefficient is. You know, in the moly rings, because it's a sprayed on process, creates porosity. So it holds oil like a sponge. And really the best way to think is, you know, we wouldn't put a cylinder head on this block without putting a gasket on it. And not expect it to leak at least, right? So the oil is the gasket between the ring and the cylinder wall.
And a way that you'll see a bunch of old school techs and stuff, when you're doing a compression test and you call somebody and go, hey, my cylinder's low, what's the first thing they tell you is squirt some oil in the cylinder and do another compression test. Because without oil, you have no ring seal. So you really need, I know you want to think about it, we don't want oil in the cylinder. With no oil in the cylinder, we're going to have high friction, high wear, and no ring seal.
Right. You want oil in the cylinder, you just don't want it up in the combustion chamber.
Yes. So you need it at the right place. You need that lubrication, but you need the seal. It actually is what makes the perfect seal.
Oh, exactly. So that's what that surface finish is
seal,
about.
yeah.
Exactly. So that's the whole beauty of the moly ring, was that it had that porosity that could hold some oil, which meant the surface finish of the cylinder could be a little bit smoother. It could be a little more varied because it wasn't relying on the surface finish of the cylinder alone to hold the correct volume of oil. When you go to a steel ring, well, this material is much better than a cast material. So it can last longer. It can handle more heat for turbos.
All modern engine, even and the first when we started getting into blowers, we started getting into turbos. We started getting into the chrome ring and a better ring because of the heat. The thing that now, just a regular mom and pop car, they've increased the cylinder temperature out because of efficiency. So now we're running engines at 210, 220 degrees, and they're not overheating.
Right.
They're taking them up to the higher temperature for better efficiency. The hotter heat in the cylinder makes less friction. So now we're having the regular soft cast ring ain't going to hold up in an environment that we have higher temperatures, but yet it may not even be a blower. So really nowadays engines run hotter. Now you put a blower, a turbo, nitrous for sure, and you're going to increase the temperature way up even more.
You think about it. Old 289 Ford made like, I think, 280 something horsepower, something like that maybe, right? And barely 1 horsepower per cubic inch. Well, a Ford EcoBoost is half the displacement, makes the exact same power. So it's double the horsepower per cubic inch.
Way more efficient.
Way more efficient. And of course they've gone from the old school cast 564, 3/16 rings. That little EcoBoost has a 1.2 millimeter top ring.
That's like a sheet of paper.
Steel. That's a steel top ring with a 1 millimeter second ring with a 2 millimeter oil ring. So that ring package is literally less than half the thickness of the original ring package, but it makes twice the horsepower, and that engine will live probably at least 200,000 miles.
Yes.
The cylinders will, right? Because it's this better metallurgy, better coating technology, better cylinder bore finish. And that's really the thing, is the OEMs, because of fuel economy, have really mastered the art of cylinder seal technology, from bore materials, surface finish, ring materials, ring coatings. They've got it down to a real science. And what we're trying to let people know is, hey, you can utilize this newer technology of the steel ring. You just need to adapt the honing and the running in process to it, which goes back to your original thing. You have to know what questions to ask, what to tell your machinist when you're getting this stuff done, to make sure you get the correct ingredients so you can make the right chili.